Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sorry for the delay in these messages. I've got a lot of feedback from a lot of you people, and alhamdulillah, I'm glad that people are appreciating these videos and are enjoying it. We do this for the sake of Allah, and inshallah we can become a better ummah, and this way we can get benefit to mankind. My talk today is about the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam before prophethood. Okay, and my following talks will also be about the same subject. All of them will be before prophethood. Okay. The reason why I say before prophethood is because we can all be like the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu before his prophethood. Right? This is an achievable thing. He wasn't a prophet. There was no Islam. Right? There was no rules. Right? Everything was free. Although we are all free now, but you know what I mean. So there was this, this slack, if you will, that there is no halal and haram yet. This wasn't around. There's no, I can do this or I can't do this. This is just good mannerisms, right? So I challenge all of us now, right, to become like the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam before prophethood. So be like Muhammad ibn Abdullah, right? This is what we're going to say. So my talk today is going to focus on his characteristics before prophethood. And then we will see how we can apply this to ourselves. And it's extremely amazing because the Prophet Muhammad before his prophethood, he was known as Al-Amin. He was known as the honest one, right? The truthful one. Okay? So rumor went around of his characteristics, of his, his honesty, his truthfulness, his high level of morality. This was rumored amongst all of Mecca. They all knew this. So Khadija is looking for a person to, take care of her caravan, and they hear about Muhammad, and they say, okay, let's Muhammad go and do this. So Muhammad goes, takes out her caravan, comes back. Khadija is blown away. So much new income, so much money. She asks, how did this happen? This is just a brief summary from the biography of the Prophet Muhammad. Just a very short seerah, right? Something very short and simple. But how many of us are reflecting on this? Right? So such an abundance of money comes in. So she's blown away. She asks her helper, what happened? What did you do? What do you see? What did you think? And she has nothing but praises to give to Muhammad. Nothing but praises. Just the best of words to give him. Based on this, Khadija then proposes, if you will, to Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Proposes. Not based on his humor, right? Not based on his good looks. Not based on anything that we ourselves nowadays are looking for. Based on his demeanor. Based on his morality. This is what Khadija wanted to marry. Take note. The marriage happens and is blessing. Alhamdulillah, everything's good. But more problems happen in Quraysh. So not only did he get his job, that Muhammad got his job based on his manners, his reputation. But his marriage came from the same way. Something that we really need to reflect upon. Now, a huge incident was happening with the Kaaba where it needed to be rebuilt. So they begin rebuilding, and then it comes to the black stone, the final piece to place into the Kaaba. The tribes burst into anger. Eruption of violence is about to happen. Tribes are ready to kill themselves to decide who will be the one to put the black stone inside. Who will be this blessed tribe leader? Who will be this honored human being? Swords are in the air. People are ready to fight. Okay? One wise person decides, you know what? How about we allow the first person to enter this sanctuary? We will let him be the one to decide what's going to happen with this black stone. SubhanAllah, by the grace of Allah, who comes in? None other than Muhammad ibn Abdullah. It's not Sallallahu yet. Okay? He walks in and they ask him, Oh Al-Amin. This is how they announce to him, Oh Al-Amin. The truthful one, the honest one. Notice, this is his characteristic. He is known as this. The city loves him. The city loves him. And they say, oh, this is our situation. We want to put the black stone in. We all want to do it. What should we do? So, he comes with this amazing answer. He says each tribe will hold a corner of this cloth or this material and raise it up to where the stone should be pushed in. And then he will be the one to push it in. And this comes from the blessing of Allah, right? That Allah allowed Prophet Muhammad to be the one to place the black stone inside. So in all these situations, what we can really absorb from it is that the Prophet Muhammad was known as Al-Amin, the truthful one, the honest one. Now, turn this question around. What are you known as? Are you known as the honest one? Are you known as the truthful one? Because many of us are trying to do things that the Prophet Muhammad used to do. Many of us, we're going to focus on, okay, we're going to pray the Hajj prayers all the time, right? Or we're going to fast Mondays and Thursdays all the time. And we're new to Islam maybe, or we're trying to really push ourselves to the limits. And all these things are good to do, but when you're ready to do them, right? When you're ready to do them. What I suggest, or what I propose, is that we work on ourselves, right? We become something good. So instead of, doing these things that the Prophet did once he was a quote-unquote Muslim, once he was quote-unquote the Prophet, right? We do the things that he did before. So if he was known as the honest person, the person with such a high level of morality, shouldn't we thus be able to mimic this? Like we are living in a society. We are living amongst people. What do these people think of us? Many times the opinion is, oh, I don't care what people think of me. I'm going to do whatever I want. And that's true perhaps to an extent. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to please everybody, but I'm not asking this. But there's a common sense, there's a common morality amongst human beings of what is acceptable and what is not. So why not harness our energy and harness our focus on becoming something of a moral character, so that when people see us, they say, oh, there's a Muslim, he's such an honest person. Oh, there's a Muslima, oh, she's such a caring person. And be known amongst our society as just one good characteristic. That's what I propose to us. We try our efforts to be one good characteristic. The Prophet Muhammad was so many characteristics, right? He had so many good values, so many good morals. Let's try and just be one of them. You know what I mean? And then implement this in our life. So if we're going to say today, oh, you know what? I'm going to be an honest person. From this day forward, we become honest. And we don't lie. And we tell the truth. And if anyone asks us, why are we honest? We refer back to Islam. We say, this is because I'm a Muslim. This is what Islam teaches me to do. Stay and do something that the Prophet did before his prophethood. And work on it. And fix it. And perfect it. And then inshallah we can go into more things. Because the Prophet Muhammad, he was loved by his community. Loved by his society. Sure, when he brought the message of Islam, problems began to happen. But initially he was loved by the community. Now, many of us are not loved by a community. Many of us are not known by our community. Many of us don't have anyone caring about us. Whether the Muslims die or not, whether they vanish from the city, who's going to care? But if we begin to make this characterization for us, we begin to say, you know what, I am a Muslim and I am an honest person and this is part of my religion. Then perhaps we could start to change the image of this ummah. Right? A story came to me, right, and this is just so you guys can all reflect upon it, is I wanted to buy a new phone, right? And I wanted to get it the cheapest price, but my service provider wasn't giving it to me for the price I wanted. So I go and talk to one of the representatives at the local telephone area, and I said, oh, can't you get me a phone? And he's like, you're an Arab, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, don't you know a sleazy Arab amongst yourselves that can steal you a phone? So you see what's happened? We're not known as honest people. We're not known as anything. The Arabs are known as sleazy Arabs, people that can steal things and get things for free. And many of us know these people. So we need to work on ourselves to fix this. We need to do so we're known as the honest people, the truthful people, the merciful people, the kind people. And inshallah, once we practice this and master this, then inshallah we can move on to be really leaders of this nation.